our next segment here, I think you guys are going to enjoy it, especially our buddies listening out there, because this is something near and dear to our hearts. We're talking NBA teams that remind us of beers. Now,
this is going to be a good segment.
I know what you guys are thinking. What are you guys talking about beer for on this show? Well, it's college, and it's our show. So, I mean, we kind of have an hour to have fun and do whatever we want, and we were thinking about this segment, and we ran it by a few of the guys, and they absolutely loved the idea. So let's just jump right into it. I got, for PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon here, I have the Utah Jazz. Solid in the 80s and the 90s. PBR was a pretty big brand for a while, and then it went away. The Jazz, they had their finals runs. They had their solid teams with Stockton, Malone during that time period. Then they kind of went away for a while. Nobody really heard about the Utah Jazz. They didn't have much star power. They didn't really do anything in the playoffs. And now they're coming with this rebrand. You see out there, you got the PBR coffee. You got all these new PBR drinks. They got the really cool cans. I'm a big PBR guy, and I really like this Utah Jazz team. I think they're going to be good. The Utah Jazz going through a little bit of a rebrand themselves, bringing in Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert there, Donovan Mitchell. This is kind of an exciting team. They're growing the brand name, a team that a lot of people are very high on. And PBR, I'm going to have to say the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one there because, like you said, this is a Utah Jazz team that is on the up and up. And, PBR, not a bad beer. You mentioned the rebranding. I like that for PBR there, Dolby.
Thanks, man.
I do. That was good. That was good stuff. So I'm going to go with Hams. Hams is the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, Hams is the Phoenix Suns because it's a cheap beer and they will always stink even when they get your hopes up. Every single time you think this Suns team is going to be good, they're not. They're just not. You got Devin Booker, then you drafted DeAndre Ayton, and you're like, oh, and then they added Trevor Ariza, and you're like, ooh, wait a second here. This team might be on the up and up. And then they just go right downhill, kind of just like Hams does. I used to be a big fan of Hams in my earlier years in college. It's just the Phoenix Suns, man. They're never going to be what you think they are. They're going to get your hopes up, and just crash to the ground, man.
But at the same time, Hams is beer. And if the Phoenix Suns are on and nobody else is on, I'm watching.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And if Hams is in the fridge and there's nothing else in the fridge, I'm cracking open that ice cold can of Hams. All right, I got Stella Artois as the Lakers. Classy beer, great beer, nothing but the best. And that's what it seems like for the Lakers. This franchise is all about nothing but the best. You have to bring in the best superstars, the biggest names. It's boom or bust. Same with Stella. It's always going to be good. You always enjoy drinking it. It's a little pricey. It's really pricey to go to a Lakers game. It's pretty pricey if you want to drink Stella on the reg. This is just a very high class, very good team, very good beer here. They handle their brand the very same way, like upper echelon. If you see the Stella commercials, you get the special glass and they're cutting the foam off with the butter knife. It looks so good. And like the Lakers are constantly in the media with all the moves they're doing and all the chatter and all the talk around them. This is definitely the Stella Artois of the NBA.
And I'm going to go with Natty Light is the Detroit Pistons. And, Natty Light, it's an okay beer. It gets the job done. It's what a lot of college kids drink. And, the Pistons, they're always just hanging around, always there. They'll make the playoffs, be a 7 seed, 8 seed. They might surprise some people, get off to a great start to the year, and then they'll just slowly go down and stink up the joint. I mentioned how Dwayne Casey in the middle of that year, last year, was coaching like garbage. And, Natty Light, it's an okay beer. It gets the job done. And so do the Detroit Pistons in the regular season because they always make the playoffs. They're always a 7-8 seed. They get it done, but then a better beer comes along and you'll rather have that, kind of like a better team comes along and they lose in the playoffs.
Solid pick there for Natty Light. Plus, you got to love Natty. All right, so for the Cleveland Cavaliers, I've got Hurricanes in the can that have been sitting in a steaming hot car for 2 weeks. Oh my God. I really liked Hurricanes whenever I was 18, and I really liked the Cavs whenever I was 18. LeBron was on that team, Kyrie, Kevin Love. It was really exciting. So were these beers that were gonna get you trashed, man. And now, I thought they were great. Now I can't really stomach it. I cannot watch this Cavs team. They're so bad. I hate watching them play basketball, and I hate drinking Hurricanes. I can't even look at them anymore. They're so bad. They make my head hurt in the morning after, like for both the Cavaliers and Hurricanes. Yeah. I'm over both of these products.
That's a pretty good one there. I'm gonna go with Miller Lite as the San Antonio Spurs. Always a solid choice for a beer. Miller Lite, yeah, you're gonna take that. And the San Antonio Spurs have always been a solid basketball team. I mean, when's the last time they missed the playoffs? I couldn't even tell you. You can never go wrong with this team. I mean, you really can't. They're always going to fight. They're always going to battle. You still got the same core guys. You got Greg Popovich, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge. It's the same team, guys. It's the same team. Miller Lite, man, you can't go wrong with it. Miller Lite is the San Antonio Spurs.
I agree with that 100%. That is spot on. Yeah. I will never turn down a Miller Lite, and I love watching the Spurs. And for me, I got the Boston Celtics as Michelob Ultra. Way too overrated. Oh my gosh. People talk about Mick Ultra like it's ambrosia. It's like, this beer is just so okay.
It's okay.
It's so okay. It has no taste. It's got no punch. This is the beer that my dad drinks for breakfast, man. Like, this is just, it's so bad. It's way too pricey too. Like, it's overrated, too pricey. These Boston Celtics are too pricey, low carbs. And guess what? That Boston Celtics team has no carbs either. There's nothing in that team that really gives you that punch anymore. Big Al is gone. Kyrie is gone. You got nothing in there that's going to provide, those nutrients. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is an empty team, and this Michelob Ultra just tastes empty. It feels empty when it's sitting in your stomach, and it's way overhyped.
No, that's a pretty good one there too, because like you said, they're just an overrated team. They're always going to be a top 3 or 4 seed, but you've seen the last few years they haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs. So. And I like that one.
Mick Ultra does not get it done for me.
Yeah. So my final one is going to be White Claws or the New Orleans Pelicans. White Claws are this new wave that a lot of people are going to now to cut down on the calories that beer has. And, you look at this New Orleans Pelicans team, they're up and coming. They got a new squad. They made a lot of changes. We mentioned Zion's there, Lonzo's there, Brandon Ingram's there now. It's a new kind of squad. Everybody's kind of hyping them up a little bit. Not that much, but you got a good young squad here in the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, I like White Claws as well. I mean, it's the new wave, and I just don't know if I buy it though. How like people like I'll have 1 or 2 and I'll be good. People buy like 2 12-packs. I'm like, nah, you know what I mean? I'm not buying this New Orleans Pelicans teams just yet. I mean, we see 42 for Zion and the top 50 NBA players. I ain't buying it.
I agree. And also, I kind of feel like this Pelicans team has the potential almost to be like a Golden State, where I really liked watching Golden State whenever they were young until they started winning like championship after championship after championship. And if everything comes together for these Pelicans teams, it's going to be the same as that. And that's the same for White Claw. Whenever I first tasted White Claw, I was like, ooh, that's pretty good. That's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
On a hot summer day, that's pretty nice. But then after drinking them for about 2 weeks, it's like, dude, somebody hand me a beer, please, because I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, that's the same what this Pelicans team looks like, man. And that's exactly right. I mean, it's just, they're this new wave. They're the new kind of team they built, from the draft. They traded a few guys and got some guys in return that, it's new scenery for some guys that were high draft picks that didn't do well in their first spot. You got Zion, like I mentioned earlier. You added a JJ Redick as a veteran. It's an interesting team, and White Claw's an interesting type of, seltzer. So, that's my White Claw is the New Orleans Pelicans.
I like it. getting close to the end of our show, but